Hello. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I hope you are okay and good. So, welcome back to our science class. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, let's start. So, for today's topic, it is all about process skills. Process skills. So, this is your science book. Can you please bring out your science book? And please open on page 8. Please open your book on page 8. Okay, so that you can follow me while I am talking here. So, did you bring out your book already? Okay, very good. So, let's proceed to the vocabulary first. Okay, so I am going to read. Please follow after me. Okay, number 1, process. Process. Number 2, scientist. Scientist. Number 3, hypothesis. Hypothesis. Number 4, conclusion. Conclusion. Number 5, integrated. Integrated. Okay, so we have here the translation. You can read this one so that you can understand more about these words. Okay, so let's proceed to number 6, inferring. Inferring. Number 7, predicting. Predicting. Number 8, modeling. Modeling. Number 9, organizing. Organizing. And number 10, experimenting. Experimenting. Okay, so these are the 10 vocabularies. Let's proceed to our topic, which is the science process skills. So what do we mean by science process skills? So the science process skills are the skills that scientists use for studying, searching for knowledge, and solving problems. So they are grouped into 2 levels. So we have here the 2 levels. The first is 8 basic science process skills. And the second one, 6 integrated science process skills. Okay, so we will learn them one by one. So we have here the first, which is the basic science process skills. So there are 8. First is using space or time relationships. Second, measuring. Third, inferring. Inferring. Fourth is using numbers. Using numbers. Fifth, predicting. Predicting. And number 6, observing. Observing. Number 7, organizing data and communicating. And we have the last one, classifying. Classifying. So here are the basic science process skills. Let us also proceed to the 6 integrated science process skills. Number 1, formulating hypothesis. Formulating hypothesis. So what do we mean by hypothesis again? These are the ideas. Okay. And second, experimenting. Experimenting. Third, modeling. Modeling. Fourth, identifying and controlling variables. Fifth, interpreting data and making conclusions. And the last one, which is the number 6, defining operationally. Defining operationally. Okay, so these are the 6 integrated science process skills. So let us learn the skills of science process skills that we need to learn at this level. So we have here example. These are the skills of science process skills which we need to learn at this level. So number 1, measure. Measure. So in this process skill, you're going to choose and use tools to measure things properly and correctly. You're going to measure with numbers and give their correct units. So these are an example. So the boy is asking how tall is this rose? So they are going to measure the flowers. Okay, so that is the number 1, which is measure. Number 2 is using numbers. So after you measure the flower, you are going to record the counting numbers. Okay, so you are going to use numbers. So turn what we have found from observing, measuring, experimenting, or searching into numbers or values. This can be done by counting or calculating such numbers. The boy is asking how many flowers are there. So the girl answered, how do we find out? So they are going to count. They will count the flowers. So the result is 7. So there are 7 rows. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so they are counting and telling the values. Okay, so first they observe first the flower, and then second they count and tell values. Okay, let's proceed to number 3, which is formulating hypothesis. Formulating hypothesis. So in this skill or in this process skill, you are going to guess or predict the answer to the question or problem that we want to solve before we do an experiment. So this can be done by observing, linking the problem to what we have learned or to our experience. The hypothesis that we make can be right or wrong. Okay, so this is an example. They are asking some question and they are guessing or predicting. So that is number 3, which is formulating hypothesis. Number 4 is experimenting. So in this process skill, you are going to follow some process or procedures. There are 3 steps of experimenting. Number 1, we have design an experiment. Okay, so you need to design first, experiment. So you need to plan. You plan your experiment. Second, after you plan your experiment, you are going to do an experiment. You will do the experiment. And the third one, you are going to record the results of the experiment. Okay, so that is all about experimenting. We have the 5th one, which is identifying and controlling variables. You will name what you want to observe or what affects the experiment. So we have 3 variables. Number 1 is independent variable. So this is what we change in an experiment on purpose to get the result. it also has an effect on the dependent variable. Okay, second, we have dependent variable. This is affected by the independent variable and also the results of the experiment. And the third one, which is the control variable. This is what we need to control and keep the same throughout the experiment. So this is an example. We have here the problem. Does the size of roots affect how they suck in water into the stem? So what is the independent variable there? Okay, so the independent variable there is the size of roots, because the size of roots can be changed. They become bigger and bigger. Okay, how about dependent variable? It is level of colored water in the beaker. Okay, so as you can see, the level of colored water in the beaker here. And the control variable there, it is outside temperature and the length of time the celery is in the water. Okay, so this is the experiment. Okay, how about number 6? This is defining operationally. Defining operationally. You are going to set the meaning and scope of words found in a hypothesis or an experiment, so we can understand the words better in the same way. For example, you write first the title. So the title is Factors Affecting How a Plant Grows. How about the problem? Does water affect how a plant grows? Okay, so we have the operational definition. The growth of the plant can be measured by its length and the number of leaves when it gets water. Okay, so you are going to define the problem. We have the last one, which is interpreting data and making conclusions. Okay, so interpreting data means to describe or explain the data with the use of different skills, such as skill of observing. And making conclusions means to sum up the relationship between the data that we gathered from observing, exploring, or experimenting. So this is an example. Okay, observing how flowers bloom. So this is their conclusion. Flowers bloom when they get sunlight. Another one, flowers close up when it is dark at night. Okay, so this is your idea or your observation. Okay, so these are the process skills. Let's proceed to your activity. Open your book on page 8. Page 8. So what you will do here is, you will match each picture with the correct science process skill. So for example, in number 1, I will read first the statement there. It has been 3 days of bad traffic. Tomorrow will be as bad. Okay, what do you think is the process skill there? Is it experimenting, using numbers, or predicting? Okay, so I'm going to answer number 1. The answer there is predicting. Okay, how about number 2? Let's shake the soda bottle. Okay, what is your answer there? Is it experimenting, using numbers, or predicting? Okay, as you can see, the boy and girl is experimenting. So you are going to match it with the word experimenting. And the last one, I counted the number of ducks and the result is 3. So they used a number. Okay, the answer there is using numbers. Let's proceed to the topic scientific mind. So what is the meaning of scientific mind? This is a characteristic of a person gained by studying science through the scientific process. So these are the characteristics of a person with scientific mind. First, reasonable. Second, eager to learn. Third, honest. Fourth, very careful. Fifth, determined. Sixth, patient. 7, disciplined. 8, curious. 9, generous. And number 10, open-minded to other ideas. Okay, so those are some examples of characteristics of a person with scientific mind. Okay, so students, do you have a scientific mind? Which characteristic? Okay, so that is the scientific mind. Let's proceed to the activity on page 15. Page 15. What you will do here is check the picture of a person with scientific mind and write X to the picture of a person without scientific mind. Okay, so let's answer number 1. Number 1, what is your answer there? Okay, the boy is sleeping, right? Okay, so this is not a scientific mind. So you will write X. You will write X there. Okay, how about number 2? How about number 2? Okay, the answer here is check. Okay, the boy is passing his homework to her teacher. Okay, and the rest, number 3 to 6, okay, you're going to answer that one. Okay, students? Okay, let's proceed to your page 17. Activity on page 17. Again, what you will do here is, you will draw a mind map, a diagram, or summarize what you have learned. Okay, so this is an example. On page 16, we have here an examples. We have here the characteristics of a scientist or a person with scientific mind. So you're going to choose one picture only, one picture, and then you are going to draw here on page 17. Understand? You will only choose one picture. Okay, after you draw, you can color your drawing. Okay, make it beautiful. Okay, so that is your activity for today. So you need to answer that one, starting from 8 until 17. Okay, you will only answer page 8, page 15, and page 17. Okay, students, so that is all for today. I hope you can answer your book correctly. And thank you very much for listening. Okay, so see you again next week. Have a nice day, everyone. Goodbye.